Our first order of business is a public hearing for the petition of Leonardo Rodriguez, White Street Investment LLC, for special permit for package store license at 298 White Street. This is lot number K13098. Commissioner Estefan, do you want to read the legal notice?
Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Commission of the City of Danbury will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, March 12, 2013 at 7:30 p.m. to consider the following matter. Petition of Leonardo Rodriguez, White Street Investments LLC, for special permit for package store liquor license at 298 White Street, lot K13098. Parties in interest and citizens shall have an opportunity to be heard at this time. Robert C. Malillo, Chairman.
Okay, I'm going to anticipate this question as it's in my notes, and I know Commissioner Haddad always asks this, although it's in his notes now too. We currently are permitted 32 package stores in the City of Danbury. Currently there are 28 licenses issued, so that means, not counting this petition, there are 4 licenses available still in the city. So I actually was wrong on the number I told you a few minutes ago.
Do you want to make a note too of the error in Mr. Fagan's letter? I'll make sure that's corrected.
Yes, I was going to do
Okay.
that. If you also look at the attachments that we have here, with this petition we have the note from the City of Danbury regarding site plan requirements. So I know there was a little bit of a question to staff in regards to parking spaces. As far as the parking spaces go, that would be a site plan perspective.
Yeah.
So I will allow limited discussion on the parking if you have any questions or clarifications on that, but I would prefer to not delve on that matter this evening.
Yeah, that Jennifer approved it,
Yep.
so pretty much it's...
And the second attachment we have is the letter from Paul Fagan, which references the proximity of the closest package store, and it lists it as a property at number 29 White Street with a tax assessor's lot. We believe that they're probably referencing 29 Newtown Road, which is the package store on the corner of Woodside Avenue. So we're going to request that the applicant just get a corrected copy of that letter, clarification for the record. That way we can have the documentation.
Okay.
And we'll either, at the end of the night, we'll either leave the public hearing open for receipt of this letter or continue it, one of the two. And that's what I would request. So with that...
With the map being attached, I think it's more of a formality because the map identifies it properly.
Right.
So, I mean, I could call Paul and tell him we have to have the corrected
Right,
file.
Yeah, but for technical purposes, I mean, well, if we do close it, I would request that we close it pending receipt of that. Otherwise, you know, for legal clarifications, we wouldn't be able to accept it if it was not submitted.
Well, I mean, it's actually was part of Jennifer's files, and I should have caught it sooner. I'm sorry I didn't.
That's okay. Everyone has a copy of this letter, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Attached to the map.
Yeah, just making sure. Because sometimes I have...
No, everybody has it. I made sure that everybody has it.
Okay, so with that, is there anybody here wishing to speak in favor of this petition?
Yes.
Why don't you pull the chair up?
That way you don't have to get up. Or just sit and talk.
Okay.
I can speak over here. My name is Stephen Hennessy. I'm a consultant in the liquor industry. And Mr. Rodriguez-Torres has asked me to assist him in his application for the commission tonight and in the preparation of his application to go to the State Department of Consumer Protection for a package store permit. Mr. Rodriguez-Torres is an experienced operator in the package store industry. He's got a store in Newtown, which he's operated for 18 months without any incident, has a clean record with the Department of Consumer Protection. And he thinks he has a viable business opportunity here on White Street. And certainly we think that the area is suitable for that sort of business. You know, I would say there was a pawn shop in the past, and I think a package store might even be a step up in that situation. As you noted, you have 28 permits in town, with 32 possible. You're one of the few towns, larger towns in the state that still have openings, which is driving a lot of interested parties in your direction. And I think you noted earlier, you get a lot of phone calls. I get a lot of phone calls as well from people who want to find a spot. And Danbury is one of the places they look, and Waterbury is another one, which still has some openings, and people are shopping around. So we think that we presented a completed application. I would note that there is no opposition locally. We would suggest to the commission that it's a suitable spot for a legitimately licensed store, which will ultimately be supervised by the Department of Consumer Protection in addition to the local authorities.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question. You're referring to him as Mr. Rodriguez Torres, but on the application it's just Rodriguez, so which is the proper name?
That's Mr. Rodriguez Torres. Rodriguez Torres.
Okay. And then,
Which, by the way, is how the letter from Jennifer is addressed as Rodriguez Torres.
is that how the permittee thing will read? Will it be
Yes.
Rodriguez Torres?
Will be Rodriguez Torres.
Is that like,
Hyphenated?
yeah.
Yes.
Sally, you had a question, didn't you?
Yes, my question is regarding
Who's
the
chairing
parking.
this meeting?
Regarding the parking.
I didn't want her to
Your
skip it.
14 spaces are not in front of the store. How do you get from the upstairs to the downstairs using those parking places?
From the upstairs to the downstairs?
The parking is also in back of the building up on another road.
Oh, I see what you mean. Off the top of my head, I can't answer that question.
Because I
didn't
know there is
realize
no outside stairway.
Yeah.
So how can those spaces be considered part of the front store, the storefront? You can't get to the store from those places.
This is essentially a side street. The majority of the parking is in the back. There's no,
Ten stickers in the front.
Of which some of them are already used by the
do
cleaners.
they look?
It's a
is that-
combination.
Yeah, that's
But
staircase.
package stores, as you probably know, don't tend to have people in the store for a lengthy period of time. There's a lot of in and out activity, and you don't expect to have the spaces used continually.
Just out of curiosity, are those regulations, because I don't think they're our regulations, those are state regulations? Or are they city regulations for the parking spaces?
Oh, the city,
It
the
is
zoning,
city?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. It's in the zoning regulations, the off-street parking table.
Which is not what I'm so used to looking at the other
Yeah.
aspects of
But
it.
Mr. Chairman, can I,
Yes, Commissioner.
didn't Ms. Estefan just say that there's 14 spaces required
Let me take this down.
and there aren't
Okay.
14 spaces accessible to the front door of this building?
No, there are not.
So then,
So, but Jennifer approved this waiver to site plan requirements, so it's her determination.
now this building next door has parking in the front, parking in the back, and they provided a staircase.
No, there's no staircase.
Well, yeah, you can go inside the building, inside the hallway.
Oh, yeah,
This
yeah.
door's open, that door's open, you go in there and you have a staircase to go down. But you're telling me that this gentleman wants to open up a liquor store, the front door on White Street. He requires 14 parking spaces, and he has parking spaces in the back of the building, and if you park there, you can't go into the store to shop.
Right.
There is,
So what good are parking
there's a
spaces?
staircase on that drawing there to the right. Yes, that's a staircase.
It goes up here?
It looks that way.
Well, they just said it didn't.
There isn't one that I'm aware of.
So,
There's
Mr.
some
Rodriguez,
shown
can you
there.
come up here, please? So if I pull in, if I'm driving on White Street and I park in parking space number 2,
That's
and
off
this
the
is your
Triangle
front door,
These parking places come off of Triangle
yeah,
Street.
let's say I pull in the parking space number 2. This staircase goes all the way down to here? Okay, all right, because it was said it did.
I didn't know that there was.
All right, so if you have a similar situation to the building next door then, which has access interiorly, okay. So then every space that you need is accessible from your front door? Okay.
Along those lines, I will note too that in the letter from Jennifer, she does state that the proposed package store requires 14 parking spaces. The previous pawn shop required 14 spaces. As such, there is no change in the parking status. So that was the planning department's notice in regards to the parking spaces. So, for clarification, I don't know if there's additional questions. Like I said, some limited.
Did you say we're going to continue this for some details?
We were going to continue for, if for no other reason, primarily to to, or the clerk to get a clean copy of the,
Okay, so you have,
Letter from
you have,
Mr.
a, you have a
Fagan, so.
specific reason to continue it, that way we can do it on site.
yes.
You can do that to make that part of it if you want.
Yes.
That'd be good.
Any additional questions for Mr. Hennessy? Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody in opposition to this petition? Anybody opposed to this petition? Anybody in opposition to this petition? Mr. Elpern was unable to make it here this evening. However, I would not be doing my due diligence if I did not, for his sake, remind the Commission that the criteria set forth in Section 3F2 of the zoning regulations requires that the Zoning Commission needs to find that the proximity of these premises or building will not have a detrimental effect on any adjacent church or other place of worship, school, and the location of such premises or buildings will not have a detrimental effect upon the immediate area, with due consideration given to the compatibility and impact of the use in the surrounding area, including adjacent residential neighborhoods, and the impact of the use upon traffic congestion and safety. Did you leave out charitable? Don't we have charitable?
They changed it. You
changed
changed
it.
it. You changed it recently when you did the amendment to the ones you did with the entertainment licenses. You took
Okay.
out charitable because they decided that a charitable institution was really just a professional office.
I vaguely remember that discussion.
Well, most of them function as an
Yeah.
office, so they decided to change it.
And also, in relationship to a package store, Mr. Elpern would also remind us that in addition to those general criteria, we also need to find that the use is not within a radius of 2,000 feet from the main entrance of any building where street, intersecting street, that it has a use of a package store. Or within 500 feet of any park or lot reserved for the use of purpose, school, church, hospital, or library. So with that, any rebuttal to the opposition?
To the opposition? I guess I would just like to note again that I think it's a suitable area for a store. It's not in a residential area, which would be perhaps impacted by this sort of business. And we didn't receive any opposition from any of the neighbors.
Mr. Haddad.
Sir, Mr. Hennessy, you've been to the site?
I have.
Do you know off the top of your head parking spaces on White Street, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17? Is there, I've been to the building, and are there any, it almost appears as though there's no specific curb cut is shown here. It just looks like everybody just drives all over here, and these parking spaces almost don't exist. Do you recall, is there
There is
really?
a curb cut.
Two.
I seem to recall one.
No, yeah, I know this one here, but over here, it looks like they don't exist. There's no bumpers for the cars, there's
Car
no,
bumpers
yeah,
there.
I mean, it looks like there should be, but I know that somebody can drive into parking space 13, go to the cleaners, they can drive, if there's no car here, 19, they generally just pull out like that, which would defeat the purpose of counting these as spaces as well. But I'm gonna do an on-site over there anyway. I didn't know if you knew off the top of your head.
Commissioner Haddad, I will also remind the Commission that in addition to the criteria, we also do have the prerogative of attaching conditions to any license application for a package store. And obviously, if there was concerns about curb cuts or no curb cuts, we would have that prerogative to make a condition.
Thank you.
Those are on the site plan, they have to be there. So when you guys go out, if there's any issues with that, call the office and I'll let Sean or Tim know, because it's a zoning enforcement issue.
Yeah.
It's not really this applicant's fault, it's the person who
No,
owns the
no,
building.
and he would
Right.
want it to be
Right,
enforced.
we want it to be safe, so.
Right.
The landlord has been very cooperative in this
Good.
situation. I think if we told them there were bumpers, for instance,
Yes.
they needed to be installed.
Yeah, but if we
I don't think we have a
conditioned it, it
problem.
would give you a little bit of a leg up too, because therefore it would be a hindrance on your availability to rent and use the space without that, so therefore
Right.
he couldn't
In
necessarily.
reality, Mr. Rodriguez would want it exactly like this, provided to him by the landlord, as opposed to a free-for-all.
Yeah.
Additional questions, comments, or discussion? With that, I'll entertain a motion. Like I said, I would like to at least keep this open to receive the corrected version of the letter. It sounds as though a couple members do want to do another field visit, so I will entertain a motion to either continue or close. I will continue, I would imagine. Commissioner Haddad.
I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to continue made by Commissioner Haddad, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Hu. Discussion on continuing the public hearing. All those in favor of continuing the public hearing, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we will.